The whistleblowers whose testimony is presented in this book have asserted that the unusual bodies recovered at Roswell and elsewhere in the mid to late 1940s were taken from Unit 731 laboratories in Japan, and that at least some of them displayed evidence of conditions such as progeria, Werner's syndrome, and Ellis van Creveld syndrome. But accounts positing links between strange bodies allegedly recovered from the New Mexico desert in the summer of 1947 that seem to display symptoms of progeria and Werner-style syndromes have surfaced on other occasions as well. And in particular, with regard to a notorious piece of film footage that was publicized amid a flurry of media interest in 1995 and has come to be known as the Alien Autopsy Film. It's from Chapter 16 of Body Snatchers in the Desert, The Horrible Truth at the Heart of the Roswell Story by Nick Redfern. This is a pair-of-view pocketbook. Nick Redfern, excellent author. This book is really interesting. I'm going to try to make this a really quick video because a lot of things that I see about healthcare reform are just either people are not understanding what's really being proposed with the legislation, or they're merely parroting the views of the right wing and the Republicans who just are opposed to this. And in this case, I'm with them on the opposition, but I'm not with them on the reason why I'm opposed to it. Okay, let's make one thing perfectly clear. A reform of the system of the insurance industry is necessary. And certainly there needs to be greater access for people who do not have insurance who need it. And there need to be controls on the costs. And there needs to be some mechanism in place to keep premiums and out-of-pocket costs from rising too much. Now, one simple thing that Congress could have done would have been to just make it a law. And I think everybody would have agreed with this. Make it a law that insurance companies cannot deny coverage for people who have pre-existing conditions, and then set some standard by which they cannot exceed as far as premium increases, and then set a standard for out-of-pocket costs that insurance companies are not permitted to go over. Simple as that. A lot of the things that the proponents of this healthcare reform want to make such a big deal about is giving access to people who don't have insurance, and about out-of-pocket costs, and about rate increases, and about premiums. Why not just tackle those? I'll tell you why. And this is at the heart of what this legislation really is, you understand? This is not a government takeover of healthcare. It is not socialized medicine. We're not going to end up with a UK-style health system, a Canadian-style health system, or anything of that sort. This is nothing but a mandate from the federal government telling you that you have to buy insurance from private insurance companies, not the government. Because what this is a bailout for fucking insurance companies on your back. Now I ask you, what is more important right now in this country? Yes, people need to have insurance. They need to have access to medical care, and they need to be able to afford it. But for God's sake, what's more important in this country right now when we're going through such an economic disaster? And I say President Obama has the gall to pass a pittance $18 billion jobs bill. $18 billion. In comparison to trillions given to fucking banks. And he's going to make the centerpiece of his administration a bailout for insurance companies on the backs of people and families who do not have fucking jobs. That's what this is. This is a mandated bailout for private insurance companies onto people and families in this country. Do you understand that? It's not socialized medicine. It's not a government takeover of healthcare. They're telling you, you have to prop up the private insurance industry by buying coverage whether you want it or need it. That's what this is. And you want to know why Congress doesn't just pass a law that says they have to accept people with pre-existing conditions. There have to be caps on out-of-pocket costs, and there have to be controls on premiums. Do you want to know why that is? Because it would cost insurance companies money. So the only way they could get away with having those things is to force everybody to buy their fucking policies. So they'll be flooded with billions of fucking dollars from people who never go to the doctor because they have to buy it. That's the only way the insurance companies would accept having any kind of limits put on what they charge. And what this reform is, it is the very first step in the total dismantling of Medicare. And I'm telling you right now that if this passes, Medicare is done. And then Social Security is done. And then you know what? Whatever kind of retirement policy you have, whatever kind of retirement scheme, whatever kind of health insurance scheme you have, you're going to be at the mercy of the motherfucking market. And you know what that means? You're going to be laid bare and flayed fucking alive by Goldman Sachs and all these other speculators that want to go in and stealthily do their credit default swaps and their mortgage-backed securities. Now they'll probably have health-backed securities and all kinds of other risk pools that they can bet on and they can bet against. Oh yeah. Make no mistake about it. That's what this is. This is a systematic dismantling of any kind of security that we have, that we've invested in for decades. Medicare payments through our paychecks. Social Security through our paychecks. Into something that we thought we could count on. And if they can get away with cutting Medicare by $500 billion, then in 10 years or sooner, they'll be able to get away with doing away with Medicare altogether. That's why the insurance companies love this. This is not a government takeover of healthcare. This is a government-mandated bailout of private insurance companies. And the first step in the systematic destruction of Medicare, and then, you know what's next? Social Security. And this is under a so-called leftist, socialist administration. Imagine if radical Republicans were in there, which they may well be in the next election. And that will just accelerate this cycle. And then, my friends, you will be at the mercy of the markets. In everything. Insurance, retirement, you name it. And if you think there's any kind of thing that's going to save you when it comes to your retirement and all this other stuff, when you're at the mercy of the markets, God help you, because everything you ever planned for your life will be systematically destroyed as they rape you and steal from you behind your back. So just understand that. Thank you. Good night.